Alright guys, welcome to the first review video of the first 3 chapters of Numbers. I'm going to try a different reading review routine, see if it works. I'm not sure. Just try to keep myself refreshed, keep myself motivated, and also trying to help further deal of why is it every time I do a video back here that heater automatically turns on. Anyway, so I don't go on too much of a tangent, I'm gonna move quickly, and plus doing 2 bits of information in these videos, because when I do the research when I further research what I'm reading in the scriptures for these review videos, I find that a lot of sources either focus too much on the historical or the statistics part of it, or they talk about only allusions to Christ and the gospel but no context whatsoever. And I'm going to try to do a little bit of both, because they are both important. It's important that we see what's going on in the text itself, and it's also important that we see how it alludes to Christ. Alright, let's jump in. So in the first chapter of Numbers, we are given a census of the different tribes of Israel. This is a military census. It's for war, and all the tribes of Israel were numbered except for the Levites. We're going to get to why in chapter 2, but for now, the tribe of Simeon had 59,300 people, or men over the age of 20. Gad had 45,650. Judah had 74,600. Issachar had 54,400. Zebulun had 57,400. Ephraim had 40,500. Manasseh had 32,200. Benjamin had 35,400. Dan had 62,700. Asher had 41,500. And Naphtali had 53,400. The total number of the men over the age of 20 who were able to go to battle, the total in Israel was 603,550. So we can see in these chapters that back in Genesis, when God promised that Abraham would make his family a great nation and that he would have children of an incountable number, like the number of the stars. By the end of Genesis, when they had settled in Exodus for a period, in Egypt for a period of time, they numbered just 70 people, just 7 children, and now they went from 70 to 603,550 people in the space of 400-ish years. Now we can see that because of this, God is already fulfilling his promise. How do we know that the promise isn't complete yet? Because it's a countable number. Although Christ fulfilled this promise once and for all, because through his blood, through his sacrifice, we are made children of Abraham. So there's the actual Israelites, and then now you have everybody who is in Christ are children of Abraham because of the adoption that Christ adopted us with. And how many Christians have there been throughout history, in the past, now, and as long as the world lasts? How many more Christians will there be? It's an incountable number to us. It's a number only countable by God. And Christ, therefore, has fulfilled the promise to Abraham that he would have children of an incountable number. Now, flipping over to chapter 2, address this a little bit in chapter 3 as well, how among the Israelites, the Levites weren't numbered. And that's because the Levites were set apart. They were for the purpose of serving the tabernacle. And part of that is because they were also part of Moses and Aaron's family, and that's where the priest area is. And in this chapter we get the arrangement of the tribes around the tabernacle, with the Levites in the middle, surrounding the tabernacle, and then the other 12 tribes, and the other 11 tribes around them. This was so that the place where God's presence dwells wouldn't be polluted, and wicked people wouldn't be punished, because, as we've addressed in the Leviticus videos, God's holiness and sin cannot exist in the same place. The Levites provide a sort of curtain for that, if you will. And the arrangement of as I did the research, I found this picture. The arrangement of the tribes around the tabernacle actually form a cross. It's a direct picture of Christ's sacrifice before crosses were even invented. And which goes to show that the tabernacle is just full of references to Christ, and the whole thing is just one big allusion to Christ. Because the sacrifices, the atonement, that Christ would atone for us once and for all, Christ redeeming us to humanity. Now, the tribe of Judah, and I want to point this out, the tribe of Judah is facing the closest to the entrance of the tabernacle on the east side, because the tabernacle, the east side was on, the entrance was on the east side, and it was symbolically entering into God's presence as they proceeded. But the reason Judah got to be so close to the entrance of the tabernacle is actually because Judah was the tribe that Jesus came from according to genetics. So similar to how Judah was leading the charge from the direction of the tabernacle, Christ leads us into it. Christ not only goes into God's presence for us, but he brings us with him. And the arrangement of the tribes around the tabernacle only further speak of it. And finally, briefly touching on chapter 3. So, it talks about how God has made because of our sin, the firstborn of God owes us firstborn people of God owes them their lives. The firstborn belongs to God. Especially because of our sin, we deserve what the firstborn of the Egyptians got, death. But not only thanks to Christ, we don't have to do that, but the Levites symbolically take it upon themselves the way Christ takes it upon ourselves. See, instead of all the firstborn being removed from their families and lands and all that, and serving the tabernacle, all the firstborn of the Levites do that, because the Levites are the tribe, the family that are part of Aaron and Moses and the priesthood. There were 22,273 total firstborn men in Israel, and there were 22,000 Levite firstborn males. So all except 273 had a Levite to take their place. And the 273, instead of them having to serve, they were instead bought with a price. I had it here. Let me go find it. Lost it. Oh, 5 shekels. They were bought for 5 shekels, so they were bought with a price. See, the Levites throughout this, they're symbolically doing what Christ was doing, taking the punishments or doing the labors in the place of the rest of the Israelites, the same way that Christ took our punishment and did the labor in our place. And not only literally fulfilling the duties of the Levites and the law of the Old Testament, Christ atoned for us and did the work for us once and for all. It's complete. All we have to do is rest in it. And the law section of the Bible should only make us further appreciate that Christ did it for us so that we don't have to. And it should give us the confidence to rest, knowing that when we're not doing enough, we need to rest on Christ more, because it is only through Him that we can even begin to please God. But because we are credited with His obedience, we can rest and knowing that we are forgiven when we do fall short. And this is not an excuse to sin more, like I've been saying. It's an excuse to be freed from sin, because Christ removes the condemnation, and you're not free if you have condemnation. We all sin and fall short, and there are often worldly consequences to it, but there is no condemnation for you. Anyways, guys, I hope this video has blessed you. I don't know exactly what it's all going to go from here, but I'll see you guys in the next one. God bless.